This is the AM News. I'm Sweetie Abochi. Let's get into the details right away. The Accra decongestion exercise hit a snag after traders at the Circle Neoplan Bus Stop returned to the area just a day after their makeshift structures were demolished. Despite the Wednesday clearance, the traders were back on Thursday morning, selling their wares and occupying the area. The Assembly's task force has responded by confiscating goods and mattresses from the traders. But the defiance raises questions about the effectiveness of the decongestion efforts. Of course, our man on the ground, James Aveji, has the rest of the story.
Our first stop on day 3 of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly decongestion exercise was at the second Neoplan Bus Stop, where dozens of makeshift structures were destroyed on Wednesday. Surprisingly, the traders were back less than 24 hours after the exercise.
From what we are seeing this morning, 24 hours down the lane, the squatters are gradually moving back to the bus stop where the decongestion exercise had happened yesterday. The conversation amongst them is that they currently do not have a place they will be moving to permanently, and so they are still hanging around, hoping to settle in fully.
Minutes later, the task force moved in to confiscate the items and destroy others they cannot carry away.
The truck is driving away the items of the squatters which they had brought back this morning, as we have come to see. Their trading tables, the makeshift tables, the boxes in which some of their wares are kept are being driven away now. You see the AMA task force with a number of the national security operatives still on the ground. They have come after we reported that the squatters are back to the place.
The director has mandated through the National Security Coordinator, put 3 permanent security officers here. Permanent security officers here to ensure daily routine inspection and enforcement here. And we are going to ensure that this place is as clean as it is as at now. Nobody will sell here. That is the truth. This is a bus stop. You can bear with me.
While this was ongoing, a watcher seller was busy serving customers at the center of the next bus stop just across the road. Her table and bench were seized. The mayor, Nick Pakpualote, has also directed taxi drivers loading at the entrance of the VIP station to relocate to the main station. The team terminated Thursday's exercise at the Kaneshi footbridge, where they drove traders away on Tuesday.
With what we are seeing is the best. We wish it will continue. It will not be like a political show or gimmick whereby after some time they will have to come back. So if they can bring the securities here day and night, it will help all of us. As you can see, look at it. Everybody is walking freely, which is a very good thing to all of us. They should all go to the market. That is where the market is made for them. They should go there and stop selling over here.
With a level of endorsement and renewed confidence imposed in this exercise, especially by influential people like the Garmanche, when the mayor visited him on Wednesday, one could only wish that the assembly succeeds in this fight. James Aveji, Joy News, Accra.
Moving on, government has averted a shutdown of public universities after the Finance Ministry agreed to honor demands for improved service conditions for 3 striking staff unions. The Senior Staff Association of Ghana, the Federation of Senior Staff Association, and the Technical University Administrators Association had declared an indefinite strike on Wednesday, accusing successive governments of neglecting a 6-month-old agreement. Just 2 days into the action, the striking workers have called off the strike, and we'll tell you more in this report.
Public universities across the country remain quiet. At KNUST and Kumasi Technical University, administrative blocks were locked, laboratories shut, and critical services stored. But there's a glimmer of hope. Just 48 hours into the nationwide industrial action, the Finance Ministry has approved revised rates of allowances for the 3 aggrieved unions, paving the way for a resolution.
I must say that it is refreshing that the strike has been called off and all members have been asked to report to work tomorrow.
Deputy Education Minister Dr. Clement Apak says government remains committed to ensuring the welfare of the non-teaching staff.
In just 24 hours, government has moved swiftly to address this matter. So yes, we believe that we will be able to meet our obligations to the people of Ghana, including obligations that we inherited from the previous government.
For months, the unions claimed they had been pushed to the wall with no action on the signed agreement. The absence has disrupted campus life from hospital workers to lab assistants and security staff. Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education, Professor Jinapo Abdullahi, called for more dialogue in order not for the academic calendar to be disrupted.
And let us not disrupt the academic calendar. It is too early for us to be engaging on strikes on the wheels of things that are solvable. But as the chairman indicated in his statement, I think the Honorable Minister for Education has been extremely instrumental in getting this issue resolved. And if there's any commendation, it needs to go to him and his colleague, the Finance Minister, for getting this behind us.
With the Finance Ministry's green light, the unions are expected to meet soon, raising hopes that by next week, normalcy could return to campuses.
In other news, the Environmental Protection Authority and the National Biosafety Authority have raised red flags over rising threats to public health and safety, pointing to environmental pollution and unauthorized genetically modified organisms in the food chain. But they say their hands are tied due to inadequate funding. More in this report.
The Environmental Protection Authority is ringing the alarm on a silent but deadly threat: antimicrobial resistance, driven in part by pollution in water, air and soil. According to the EPA, bacteria and viruses are gradually becoming resistant to antibiotics, creating a looming health crisis. The authority attributes this growing resistance to multiple factors, including environmental contamination. Professor Nanama Brown-Kluche is chief executive of the EPA.
So there are bacterials, they are in the system, they are in the air, they are in the water we drink, they are in the food that we eat. So they are in the environment, and we need to be prepared on how we can protect the people and the environment as against that. So the EPA has taken it up as an emerging issue, and we are having discussions within about it. And we are doing the awareness as well to the people, and so those who are selling food, the food vendors, those who are treating our water bodies, and even for air quality measurement, we are looking at all of these areas for these antimicrobial issues.
Chairman and ranking member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Environment, Science and Technology are promising improved funding to help the authority scale up efforts.
The EPA, moving from an agency to authority, must be clothed with the necessary funding so they can perform the additional responsibilities bestowed on them from the transition from agency to authority. And what is this thing that we are talking about? It's about money.
They have been given more responsibility to carry out. We're expecting them to do that. So as a committee, we are ready to support them to realize their dreams.
At the National Biosafety Authority, another concern emerged. Unapproved genetically modified organisms are being found on the market. In view of this, Chief Executive of the NBA, Kwame Dey Asamoah Ochre, proposed corrective measures to curb the situation.
4 key challenges that we believe the committee can help us address. So the first one is the presence of unapproved GMOs on the market, and this results in exposure of the public and the environment to potential harms. Since we haven't had risk assessments of these products, we really cannot affirm in terms of their safety. So in terms of the corrective measures, we're looking at integrating our import and export workflows into the ICOMS, the Integrated Customs Management System. As we sit in that gateway, we'll be able to see all that is coming and all that is going, so that if there's anything, at the moment we are not there.
From drug resistance to food safety, Ghana's regulators say the threats are clear, but without money, solutions remain out of reach.
The Apintoja Sehene Nana Dr. Dakwa Bediako III is urging Goldfields Ghana Limited to prioritize the reclamation of degraded lands, especially for cocoa farming. He believes this could be a sustainable way to combat the devastating effects of illegal mining on the environment. His call follows the launch of the Cocoa Farmers Support Program by the Goldfields Ghana Foundation in Takwa. And the initiative is designed to empower farmers and help restore livelihoods beyond the mining sector. Here's more.
With global cocoa prices on the rise, local farmers continue to face setbacks due to poor soil health and widespread land degradation. Nana Dr. Bediako says restoring cocoa farms destroyed by illegal mining with the backing of projects like this can significantly improve incomes and living conditions in affected communities.
Through the activities of Galamsey, cocoa board claims we have lost over 40,000 hectares of cocoa land. And this is because a lot of the cocoa lands have been sold for mining. In as much as we are fighting to ensure that the Galamsey menace stops, it's also necessary for us to look at making sure that we reclaim the lands that has already been wasted so that we can use it for the planting of cocoa. It's long overdue that the people of Ghana will come together and ensure that lands that have been used for Galamsey are not left bare, but be used again for cocoa plantation.
The Cocoa Farmers Support Program was first introduced in Daman in 2018. Following its success, the initiative is now being extended to Takwa with hopes of replicating that impact. Manager of Goldfields Takwa Mines, Katrin Kupol Kutor, noted that while cocoa farming has always been part of the area's economy, its full potential has yet to be realized. She expressed optimism that the support program will help turn things around.
With over 1 million farmers relying on cocoa farm production for their livelihoods. Currently, the producer price for the 2024-2025 season is 3,100 Ghana cedis per the 64 kilo of the cocoa bag. Despite this importance, the cocoa sector continues to face challenges. These assistance included cocoa board approved fertilizers, fungicides, pesticides, and other things. This comprehensive support resulted in remarkable improvement of about 77% increase in the average cocoa yield among the beneficiary farmers.
Deputy CEO of Cocoa Board, Atobwatin, commended the foundation's efforts, adding that the initiative aligns perfectly with Cocoa Board's renewed drive to revitalize the cocoa sector under its current leadership.
And I can say for sure that this program is in line with government policy. And that policy is essentially to increase cocoa output in Ghana. And we believe that with what Goldfields Ghana is doing and with what Cocoa Board is doing, we should be able to turn around the outputs in the Western South, especially the Takwa area. So we strongly support what Cocoa Board and what Goldfields Ghana is doing with the farmers.
Over the next 5 years, at least 300 farmers in the Takwa enclave will benefit from the program. They will receive Cocoa Board approved fertilizers and pesticides, as well as training in best farming practices and agroforestry techniques, all aimed at promoting sustainable cocoa cultivation in the region. For Joy News, in Athalia Kwanza, Takwa.
From Takwa, let me take you now to the Upper West region, where the Regional Minister Charles Luwanga Posing has disclosed that the NDC government is committed to increasing the number of Ghana School of Law campuses across the country. Ghana currently has 4 law school campuses, all located in the southern part of the country. He stated that it is the government's commitment to ensure that individuals who wish to pursue legal education have access to it. Charles Luwanga made this statement at the maiden moot court competition for students of the Simon Diodong Dombo University Business and Integrated Development Studies in WA. Of course, Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The Simon Diodong Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies added to its list of schools and programs the School of Law and matriculated its first batch of students a couple of years ago. The aim is to cater for the growing demand for legal professionals in the Upper West region of Ghana and beyond. The need is driven by the university's commitment to regional development and its desire to offer more diverse and specialized academic programs. The pioneering students are now in the last leg of the course and expected to complete before the end of September. The SDD UBITS School of Law therefore held its maiden moot court competition, which was attended by key stakeholders in legal education, judiciary, lawyers, academia, and students of the School of Law. At the yet-to-be-completed auditorium was Charles Luwanga, the regional minister, and so too was Charles Luwanga, the lawyer, who laid bare his intent for the university shortly before he launched the first moot court competition.
Your university, in short, UBIS, is one of the early beneficiaries of the Get Fund projects that will be undertaken this year. We know they are uncompleted. This uncompleted auditorium will be completed, the library, and it's my intention that whilst minister, a proper and a befitting law school will be built for the university.
He also spoke of the commitment of the NDC government to increasing campuses of the Ghana School of Law.
Currently, the Ghana School of Law runs 4 campuses, 3 in the Greater Accra region and 1 in the Ashanti region. And it only behoves government to ensure that the upper middle belt, which is the Ahafo, Bono East, and the Bono area, as well as Northern Ghana, also have campuses for the Ghana School of Law to create more access to legal education to persons that hail or educate or reside within these areas. So I believe that by the end of the tenure of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we should have other campuses that are closer to us than all of us trooping to Greater Accra or Ashanti region.
Vice Chancellor of SDD UBITS, Professor Emmanuel Kenchibe-Deribli, is happy that things are beginning to take proper shape at the university despite the initial challenges.
I'd like to highlight that from a humble beginning and a humble context, I think we have a little over 400 students in the law school, and this year we would have close to 70 students graduating, and we are preparing them to write the professional exam.
Principal State Attorney at the Upper West Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, Lawyer Said Abdul Shakur, enjoined the students to see law as an advocacy and give in their best to get to the ultimate.
Remember what Taylor said in Bonsu versus Bonsu, 1971, GLR, specifically at page 260. Taylor J said this law is about 3 things: case law, statute law, and the practices of the court. So what we are going to do today, we expect to see the case law, we expect to do the statute law, and we expect to see the practices of the court. Anything short of that is not moot court. The law is essentially about advocacy. Otherwise, it's about nothing.
Supervising High Court Judge Justice Alhaji Yusuf Asibi noted that the law profession is a noble one, which many are craving to join. He however averred that it cannot be gotten on a silver platter, urging the students to take their studies seriously. SDDU's Law Students Union President Nero Zaguo also had some thoughts on the moot court competition.
We set a foundation for our students to participate in national and international moot court competitions. And since the school is just new, we are hoping to also use this platform to reach out to stakeholders from the region and out, and also to announce our presence in Ghana.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
From WA, let's get into our business update now with Benjamin Akapo.
A warm welcome to our business updates for this morning, and we kickstart matters with our currency market. Let's get into our stories now. And the government will today borrow 5.55 billion Ghana cedis on the treasury market. Now, this will be done via the issuance of 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day bills. There's more in this report.
The funds will be used to settle maturing bills worth 5.35 billion Ghana cedis. Demand for the short-term instrument has declined in recent times, with the government missing its target for the third consecutive week. Last week, investors submitted 5.35 billion cedis in bids, but the Treasury took only 2.76 billion Ghana cedis, a sharp pullback from the previous week's full acceptance. The auction fell short of the 6.68 billion Ghana cedis target and 6.44 billion Ghana cedis in upcoming maturities. Yields on the 91, 182, and 364-day bills dipped week on week. Some analysts say the Treasury's selective acceptance reflects a deliberate effort to contain upward yield pressure despite tightening liquidity, as institutional demand shifts toward the Bank of Ghana's 56-day bill, which raised 10.9 billion Ghana cedis last week.
Now, accounting and auditing firm Deloitte has emphasized the need for homegrown policies to tackle domestic inefficiencies that could undermine Ghana's current economic progress. According to Associate Director of Financial Advisory at Deloitte, Dennis Brown, these policies would help address pressing issues such as elevated inflation and foreign exchange shortages. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Brown maintained by implementing homegrown economic reforms, Ghana could create a more stable economic environment.
Yeah, we did mention domestic inefficiencies in our report. And if we talk about domestic inefficiencies, I could cite two major ones. On the monetary side, for instance, I did mention that if we are not careful and create perception of there being shortage in supply of the USD, the market will react, in a way that will hurt us. So people will rush for dollars to hold it because there's a sense that it might be in shortage, and that then will kick us into significant depreciation. It will then have a pass-through effect that will then begin to, increase inflation. Then we also talked about fiscal discipline, which is also a domestic measure. If government fails to maintain the fiscal discipline that it has, followed so far, then we are going to run into issues on the supply side, right? Domestic inefficiencies that exist already in relation to, for instance, the value chains that are underdeveloped. We talked about this several times, that there are productive, sectors of the economy that are doing well in terms of production at the primary end, but how the goods finds their way into the market there are so many bottlenecks that then creates, opportunities for those in the middle line to profiteer, and at the end of the day, the final price to the consumer, is increased. If we can fix those bottlenecks along the various value chains across the multiple industries that we have, then we'll be able to also keep inflation at bay. So these are some of the domestic inefficiencies that we have to use homegrown policies to address.
Well, from there, let's head right into our commodities market for today. And that's how we cap off our business updates for you this morning. But as an extension of the news, you can expect sports coming your way right up next. We'll be right back.